Leave it to Batman to set the internet on fire, and not an actual reveal of Batman, a drawing that's a silhouette of Batman. James Gunn in his Creature Commandos show has given us a glimpse, sort of Batman for just a couple of seconds, and we're going to talk about it. Thanks for clicking on this episode. I'm Lauren, also known as Uncle. That's Devin. Taylor's getting his kids to bed. But Devin, Batman's been revealed in a drawing, a shadowy drawing. But
the thing is, the shadowy drawing has a lot of like promising things to it, right? I mean, yeah. Okay, so candidly, I am a fan of the short ears. I feel like it's a more intimidating silhouette than the long ears. And I grew up on long ears, and actually as a kid, I grew up on long ears. That's a weird statement. It's not something you say every day. I grew up on Batman 89, Batman the Animated Series, and so I remember the first time I saw Batman with short ears was actually so funny. It was actually, I think it was a drawing that Lauren did of Batman, because Lauren's an amazing artist. It was a drawing he did of the Dark Knight Returns Batman. Oh. And I was like, why does Batman have short ears? And Lauren said, well, Dad and I actually like the Batman with shorter ears. And I was like, well, that's silly. That's ridiculous. And the older I got, I was like, oh, I get it, Yeah. And so the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns, the Jim Lee Batman Hush, that silhouette is something that I've grown really accustomed to. I don't prefer a really armored Batman. I don't think it's realistic from a stealth perspective. I mean, that's getting real nerdy. Yeah. And it's just not cool, in my opinion, from a silhouette perspective.
Right.
I also don't want him to be super padded. Like, really, candidly, Ben Affleck was not that big. I mean, no. He just wouldn't. He just wasn't. Because, yeah. But we see short ears. We see a Batman who has been eating his Wheaties.
I mean,
and
he's got lats for days, man.
Seriously. And we see a utility belt with the pouches. I'm a big fan of, that Frank Miller look where the utility belt is made up of pouches instead of really rigid, like weird pockets that don't make any sense of how anything is on it. So it's super exciting. The 2-second glimpse, and he said that is the DCU Batman. DCU, right?
Yeah, DCU. And he did say, I can't remember who he was talking to, sorry, but he said that the original, when they presented it to him, it wasn't as silhouetted. And he kept pointing things out, saying, I'm not ready to commit to that, not ready to commit to that, not ready to commit to that. And he said, make it more and more and more silhouetted. So what we have here is something that he approved of. And yeah, the short ears, I mean, there's white eyes. Okay.
I mean, that now, they're not committed to that, but there are white eyes,
There are white eyes. And look, Deadpool showed us that white eyes can work.
Two superheroes now, by the way.
Yeah. I know Dark Knight trilogy folks, you were super happy in the Dark Knight when Christian Bale had the sonar white eyes. I'm sorry, I thought it looked ridiculous. I thought it looked absolutely ridiculous. I didn't understand the point of it. But here's my thing. Do I think, first of all, his build looks good? Yeah, the short ears look awesome. The utility belt looking like it's got pouches looks awesome. My only thing is I don't trust it, because
for sure.
I really had high hopes for the Superman costume, and I hate the Superman costume. I hate that it looks like a it fits like a back to school sweater from J.C. Penney, and it's just, you know, and yeah, we can debate the high collar all day, but it just looks like a tremendously thick, hot, baggy, weird costume. The cape looks awesome. Now, I will say that about the Superman costume. The cape looks amazing. And one thing I notice about this this Batman picture is just like with every live action Batman since Batman Forever.
Oh boy.
Well, actually, no, because they did this. They did it right in Batman Begins. But for the most part, I don't understand why we've been like, yeah, he's wearing a cape, but it should never drape around him. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I mean, this cape looks pretty big, and if the Superman cape is any, like, you know,
Yeah.
clue to
And I
as to
know
what the
that's-
Batman cape will be like.
That's high level nerd nitpick, but
Well, no,
They-
it adds to the silhouette of Batman. You
It
know,
does.
it really does.
Batman 89, even though I wasn't a real huge fan of that costume, the cape was great. Returns, the cape was really cool because it stayed over his shoulders. It was never back. I don't know what this motion was, but it was never back. Batman Begins, his cape draped over him a good bit, but once he went into whatever that weird Lego Batman outfit he had, and starting in Dark Knight, his cape was just always kind of laying down behind him.
There, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Begins cape was the Begins cape was definitely my favorite.
Yeah, the cape was so great. And
And then
I
it just
liked,
became something that was just a visual and served no purpose.
yeah, I really liked. I liked the look of Zack Snyder's Batman in Batman versus Superman. I did not like it in any of the subsequent movies. I didn't like his ears in Justice League, and I certainly didn't like his outfit in that stupid Flash movie. Oh, I feel so negative. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry to nitpick, but the short ears that Ben Affleck had were awesome. The cowl that he had was so good.
Best looking cowl, definitely.
I mean, hands down, best looking cowl.
hands down, yeah.
And but
I mean,
still,
well, okay, it was a little. It closed in on his face a little bit too much for me. I would
really?
for me, and it at times made his face look a little pudgy. You know.
Well, that's because he got fit, and then they were like, "Get bigger," and he's like, "Okay." And I think there were several times that, like, when they got up close to him, he was sweating. He's like, but I mean, that's a lot of.
It's a lot of latex.
I do think that was overall the better looking costume.
I agree for sure.
Even though the gray part of the costume looked like it was made of duct tape a little bit, the
I
textured
never
look.
thought of that until now.
I don't know why we had to go textured like that and be like, look, I look like I could be on the street, and like roll.
So
and
what?
stop.
So what do you propose? Because to me, the only way you get away with fabric is if it is textured.
I don't know. I mean, I don't mind texture, just maybe different than that.
Not so aggressive.
Not so aggressive, because what that did is it didn't allow you to suspend disbelief that might be Ben Affleck, or that might be Bruce Wayne's body.
Yeah.
Because it looked so plastic, even though it was gray with the black bat and all
Yeah,
that.
I agree.
It
Looked
still
like
looked.
like a
Yeah.
body cast. Yeah.
I mean, that's the best way to say it. It looked like just a hard cast with a muscle suit underneath. But I think it was a step in the right direction. The boots are cool and all that. But this has a lot of promise, and I don't doubt for a second that James Gunn can he can do one of two things: way deliver on this, and just smash it. Because, I mean, if he's got that much control that, you know, look, everybody's talking about this is the Batman that's going to be in the Batman Brave and the Bold. They've postponed that movie. And that
they have?
Andy Muschietti is moving on to something else until they're ready to move forward with this. I think they're waiting to see how Superman does. But I don't know that Batman Brave and the Bold will be the first thing you see Batman in. But he did say, he said, this is the Batman you're going to see in the DCU and that you'll see with Superman when they're together. So he is going to bring them together at some point, either in a Justice League or hopefully a good World's Finest where they don't hate each other. For the love of goodness, just be friends for a second, you know.
And I would submit there's nothing wrong with like the little suspiciousness that they might have, like the World's Finest animated
Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Talking about the cartoons again. Sorry. Go ahead.
The World's Finest Bruce Timm
100%.
crossover was great.
Perfect.
Yeah, and even bringing in the Joker and Lex Luthor together, and that dynamic was interesting. I was also a kid, so
look, I'm not a kid. I mean, the white will tell you. And that World's Finest New Adventures of Batman, Superman animated series thing, that still plays.
Yeah.
When Superman comes up and grabs Batman's arm and says that's enough, and Batman just throws him across the room. Come on. And then
and you know, Superman throws him against the wall, and
oh yeah, I mean, in a flash, just zoom and Batman's against the wall. But what does he do next? He stands up and throws that cape off his shoulders with some kryptonite, and like mocks him and says, "It doesn't take much, does it?"
It's so good. They understood
good.
Batman so well. Like the blueprint is there, man.
Look,
it's there.
I know there are a million other channels for James Gunn to tune in and see what people think. But hey, if you run across this one, James, Mr. Gunn, whatever, watch that. Just watch that and do that for the love of Pete. You've already, you know,
it's won Emmys. It's. I mean,
you don't have to do your new. We've talked about this. You don't have to come up with something brand new. You kind of muffed it with the Superman costume, but you can recover. Good has already been done. Take good and do it again. The good that's happened was done, other than these old movies, was done most recently in a cartoon, not live action. You can make that happen. Do that, man. And I don't know. But if he brought a short-eared version of the Batman that's in the New Adventures of Batman with that same attitude, with the same feel, with the
do you think that James Gunn is going to bring any of the sarcastic humor to Batman? And if he does, but maintains a gritty darkness, does that bother you?
It doesn't bother me. I'll tell you, there were one of the few things I didn't like about the Batman. I didn't like I'm just
we're
costume
very particular
hater
about this, our Batman suits. Like,
yeah, look, Richard Donner is the only one that got the Superman costume right. Everybody else just failed. Anyway. And nobody, I agree with Gary from Nerdrotic. He says no one has gotten live action Batman completely right yet.
Yeah,
no one.
Everybody gets a piece of it, you know.
Everybody gets good pieces, but no one's gotten a comic accurate Batman completely right.
Yeah.
And one thing that I noticed about the Batman is that there were perfect moments, especially in the interactions between Bruce and Alfred. There were perfect moments for just at least a sarcastic joke, a sarcastic comment that would have garnered a chuckle. And it's you could feel the moment. And I'm not talking about Marvel kind of thing where in Civil War it's weirdly edited to where Robert Downey Jr. or Tony Stark is almost crying talking to Captain America, but he turns around and jokes with Spider-Man and it's clearly a pickup scene or something like that. I'm not talking about that. There were perfect moments that you could feel the beat would be great for the right comment. And they let that beat go by. And they kind of sat where it should go, and you could feel that. And that's what I don't mind, right? I mean, don't go too far like they did in Batman Returns, where he takes the little CD and does the Rick.
Yeah, that's too far. I will say, like, the whole the soup that Bruce Wayne eats and then spits out, and he says it's cold.
Cold. He says it's fishy swa or something like that. It's supposed to be cold. And he looked and he immediately starts eating it again, not saying that was great.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's good comedic relief that doesn't come from a villain, and even sarcastic comments from Batman. Mm-hmm. The stabbing, snide comments that you can laugh at because it's funny, but it's a jab. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Even in 89 Batman, after he rescues Vicky Vale, fights the bad guys, and just appears out of nowhere and says, "You weigh a little more than 108," and she says, "Oh, really?"
Right.
I
forgot about those little. Yeah.
It's just these little throwaway things that it was just great. But anyway, I am fine if they put those moments in there, because the Batman had it in the Bruce Timm show. After he had these comments that didn't take away his mystique or his elevated level of who he was. I mean,
right.
Once they got into that, especially that New Adventures of Batman and then Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, somehow they had elevated Batman to where even Superman was like, "I don't want none of him." And he's just a guy. He's just a guy, but he was just better than everyone else. And he didn't have to keep reminding anybody of that. He just was. What was it? Was it Deadshot? Was in the Justice League episode, and Superman and Wonder Woman are trying to get information out of him, and all of a sudden Batman just takes him away and whispers to him, and he spills the beans. And one of the other heroes says, "What did he say?" Yeah. Wonder Woman says, "What did he say?" And Superman says, "You don't want to know." It's
great. It's comedic relief. Yeah,
that's brilliant, but it keeps who Batman was in that universe. Again, James Gunn. Do that.
Yeah.
It's easy. It works. And take that and then take what this image teases and kind of promises. And look, give us a muscled up Batman. Put somebody on roids, Take 10 years off their life. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Roids are bad for you, kids. But do that. Do this thing. Do not shine light on this silhouetted image, and it turns out it's Iron Man Batman. I'm so tired of the Arkham game Batman, where he's got 700 pounds of Kevlar plates. Look, John Wick has shown us that you can have nice suits and everything made out of Kevlar. Look, you do not have to do armored plates anymore to protect Batman. John Wick proved it. Go the John Wick route. Give him Kevlar fabric and give us comic accurate Batman. That's all I want.
Well,
Make this payoff. Sorry.
As much as I appreciate the writing and everything that Matt Reeves has done with the Batman, and I look forward to the Batman too. If
it ever comes out.
If it ever comes out. I really am done with the realistic Batman. I don't need a Batman that's realistic.
Stop telling me that you want to ground it.
Yeah,
I interrupted, please.
We've done it. We've done it to death now. We've grounded Batman to the point where he is slightly clumsy a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm done with that.
I don't need it. Again, no one ever alluded to the Batman. I keep bringing up the Bruce Timm cartoons, and I'm not talking about the Caped Crusader one that J.J. Abrams got his hands on. I'm talking about the real deal. No one ever alluded to him having any kind of special abilities or powers. He was just the best person. And he had taken his mind and his body to that peak. And yeah, could he jump farther than any human can? Sure. But let him do that. Let my man fly through the air, do his arm like this, and 3 or 4 batarangs go out and hit their mark perfectly, even though that's impossible.
It's not possible.
But do that. It's a comic book. Don't ground anything.
We're talking about a man dressing up like a bat and going and biting criminals.
Working.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the other thing about the Batman is what part of him was supposed to be scary. Now, Robert Pattinson, he made it work, but there's nothing scary about that. He's just got like armor plates. He's wearing a trash bag as a cape, and he's got a funny mask.
Props to Robert Pattinson for making any of it work, because he really did.
He did,
and more respect.
He
to
made
him.
it work. He made that costume work, because if anybody else had been doing that, it wouldn't have worked. But
yeah,
the whole point, we've gone long. The whole point is we. And we're interested to see if you feel the same way. Do you want more of a grounded reality Batman, or do you want this weird grounded reality with ultra Iron Man high tech, where in the games, Alfred or Lucius Fox or whomever sends this giant capsule to Bruce Wayne on the top of a building like no one can see it, and a suit is inside, and he puts it on in full view of the whole city on the top of a building? That's ridiculous. What do you think?
I do have one question.
Go.
I do have one question to close with. Talking about the Bruce Timm Batman in this cinematic universe, who do you think could carry that kind of role? Because there are guys like Alan Ritchson who physically, that's physically what somebody should probably look like. But does he have the acting chops to
I do not
carry
think
it?
he does. I do not think he does. He's a great Jack Reacher.
Yeah.
But Jack Reacher is meant to be one note, and I've not seen him really act anything else, so I'm just going off Jack Reacher. But I don't think
he was good in the
off.
Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. That's some of the best I've seen him do.
He was good in that, and he was funny, and I enjoyed that movie. But I really don't know. Now, you listen to me. I know he's in the Marvel universe, but you keep Pedro Pascal away from this.
Oh God!
Because I feel like they will put that guy in anything. Hey, I won't see it.
I heard somebody throw out Aaron Taylor Johnson, which I think that I know Craven cratered, pun intended.
Yeah.
But he is a good actor. He has acting chops. He's like 6'1" or 6'2", which is about what Batman is supposed to be. And he's physically, like, he's already a fit dude who would probably bulk up in size. He might be able to carry it.
Can he pull that essence off, man? Because the Bruce Timm Batman, right after they switch to the New Adventures of Batman, and it's the Scarecrow episode, and he gets the toxin that takes away the fear.
Oh yeah.
And the guy tells him, "I'll shoot you," or something like that. And as he's closing in, he says, "You're not trying to scare me, are you? Are you kidding me?"
That's great
I don't
writing.
think Aaron Taylor Johnson. It's great writing. I don't think is that his name? Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah.
That's a lot of names. I don't think he can. And I could be wrong, but I just don't see him pulling that off and me going, "Oh, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen." I didn't even know that Batfleck could. But anyway, Devin, anything else on this? I feel like I've been really negative, and I'm sorry. I don't trust anything anymore.
No, I mean, I think the moral of the story is that, just like Nerdrotic said, every movie, and actually a friend of mine, his name is Michael, said the exact same thing independently. Every movie has gotten like a piece of Batman right,
yeah.
nailed it, and then just kind of let everything else fall to the wayside. But the thing is, you have to hit all of them. And
Yeah.
it's not impossible. It's not like we're asking, for something totally, impossible. So
No, it just,
yeah,
I mean, we live in the most advanced age of movie making ever. Don't give us a grounded Batman. Give us the comic book Batman. That's all we want. So anyway, Devin, anything else, buddy?
no, I don't think so.
What do you guys think? Leave us a comment. Tell us what your opinion is. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? I apologize for being so negative. Please forgive me. Also, subscribe. Like we've said, we're rolling out more content like this. Give us a like, a subscribe, and come back for more. Until then, I'm Lauren. That's Devin. See you, gang.
See ya.